This is episode number 18, The Importance of the Climb. Welcome to the Doc Fitness Podcast, where it's all about developing your mindset, training and nutritional knowledge so you can lose body fat and build muscle effectively while still living a real life. I am your host, David O'Connor. Now let's get into the show. How are we keeping, guys? And a big welcome back to the Doc Fitness Podcast, and welcome back to Monday Thoughts, the short little to the point episode where I get across points that are kind of floating around my head for that day. And this week is no different, really. I've come across a book that I found while traveling back in January, which is called the subtle I don't know if I'm saying that right, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. And out of all the kind of like psychology, mindset, all that kind of stuff, books I've read in the past, this one is nice because it's tying principles together that is very, very easy to understand without any kind of jargon involved with it. And that is why I think it's such a popular book. It's sold, I'm not sure if it's sold in the millions, but it's definitely sold in the hundreds of thousands anyway so far. It's become a very, very popular book. And one little analogy in the second chapter, I think it is, that stuck out greatly for me is this kind of thing about the process and the climb when it comes to something. Because for a lot of periods in his life, Mark wanted to be a musician, I think it was, or a pop star, rock star, whatever you want to call it. And he loved this idea of having the fame, being on stage and cheering to massive crowds in his head. So kind of like he gives the analogy of standing at the top of the mountain and having climbed it and getting that kind of euphoria feeling from the end result. He was in love with the result, as he calls it. But as he kind of was going through life, he started to figure out that he absolutely despised the actual process involved for getting to that end result. So for getting to the stage, he didn't like kind of all the practice he had to do with the gigs in the background, rounding up people to get together to practice, even lumping the equipment from venue to venue, from practice venue to practice venue, all that kind of stuff. He didn't like the climb. And I think this is a big factor too with people these days, in that they love the idea of being leaner, being fitter, being stronger. And there's so many different things. Like if you look on Instagram today, you just get confused by so much different stuff and the way people have different kind of goals. And one person's doing CrossFit, one person's doing powerlifting, one person is doing bodybuilding, one person's doing X, Y, and Z. And they're all kind of focused on that end result. And you might be looking at thinking, oh, I'd love to be that, or I'd love to try and do that, or whatever it is. But you're not realizing, or you're nearly ignorant to the process involved with that. And I suppose one way that I want to kind of get across this Monday Thoughts episode is that rather than kind of going to the gym, right, and falling in love with the end result, which is brilliant, by the way, you need to be emotionally attached to that as well in the first place to want to get there, because otherwise you wouldn't even try it in the first place. That's a good thing. But rather than kind of hating the process along the way, obviously you're doing something fecking backwards along the way. You're either doing something that's too strict, it's too strict for your lifestyle, it's not suiting kind of your enjoyment levels with things, all that kind of crack. So the easiest answer I have to that is there ways you can start to enjoy the process for yourself that will help you get to that end result? Because think of it another way, like if I did not find if I did not find the ways in which I love training to get the end result for sports performance, for building muscle, getting leaner, that kind of stuff, if I didn't love that process and find ways to love that process, there's no way in the world I would stick to it and be as consistent as I am with it. Over time, I tried like different training methods, different plans, all that kind of stuff, and I kept coming back to the principles behind training overall. So like the training was specific for what I wanted. There was the fundamental principle of progressive overload there to, we'll say, at the time, build muscle as the main goal here. I always was kind of following those principles, and then if it's sport performance, then you're looking at getting stronger and more powerful for your sport, that kind of stuff. I always enjoyed the kind of modality and the format of the training that was involved with that. I found a kind of frequency across the week that wasn't too stressful for me, and I enjoyed getting it in. Like, there's no point in me fooling myself into hitting the gym 6 days a week if I'm not going to fucking enjoy it, and if there's a need for it in the first place, versus hitting the gym 3 days a week. So again, all those kind of factors come into play. Like, but what are you doing right now that you're hating the process of getting the end result? I know for a lot of people it's going to the gym with a fucking mundane routine that they never change up. They're stuck on the treadmill, they're stuck on X, Y, and Z, or they're just doing the same stuff that they might have got off a trainer 3 years back, or a year ago, or even 6 months ago. You pulled something offline and you're just following it. And although you might be sore the first 2 or 3 weeks doing that, and you've seen a bit of progress, and you've seen a bit of strength going up, now you're hitting a wall and you're getting back in that kind of demotivated slump again, and you're not seeing the progress that you want to see. So it's fucking damn hard to kind of stay following through things and stay consistent. And no wonder people fucking up end resenting things in the gym. You're not fucking falling in love with the process because you're not given a chance to fall in love with the process because, frankly, I suppose the answer with this is that a lot of people don't know what to do. Like, you kind of know what to do, but realistically, like, who you fooling? Like, this is why I spend so much time programming for clients. It's not just something that you can rip off the internet, not knowing any context behind a specific training plan and just following it that kind of mindlessly. There is so much more at play that people don't know, and this is why, again, it's just another element of the health and fitness world that's bastardized, in my opinion. It's the same with diets. It's like going on the internet right now and pulling off a meal plan that has absolutely no context behind who it's for or what it is, but yet you just go on and follow it. You don't even know if it's going to lose weight, if you're going to maintain weight, if you're going to gain weight, but you're just mindlessly following it. I just think a lot of people approach their training like that as well. They think, right, I want to lose some weight, I want to tone up. They just go to the gym, they just start doing random stuff. It could be running on the treadmill, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, or, again, following a plan or routine that you just fall out of love with, I suppose. So, look, at the end of the day, like, every positive outcome, which Mark outlines in this book as well, comes from a negative experience. And in this case, the negative experience is showing up to the gym and putting yourself through kind of uncomfortable pain in a way that's good pain, because you have to be able to push yourself to adapt, to give your body a reason to drop body fat and build muscle tissue so you can tone up. But every positive experience or every positive thing comes from that negative experience, if you like. And that's what that is in this case. So my message today with this is, like, what ways can you do to fall in love, or what ways can you find so you can start falling in love with the process? Does that mean getting onto somebody that you can relate to, like a coach that you can relate to, that you like what they do, that you like the results they get, and the message they actually preach? Maybe that could be the first step for you getting onto that person. But above all, I think there's always a fucking way that somebody can fall in love with what they're doing fitness-wise. I'm not going to say gym fit, but like fitness-wise in general. There is always a way to make that better, make it easier, make things more sustainable for your life. There is always a fucking way. It's just a matter of, have you found it yet? And are you kind of losing sight of what's really involved in getting to the end result that's in your head? And that's the climb, the actual process. And until you fall in love with that and kind of find ways to fall in love with that, you're not going to be motivated to stick to it. Like, no one in the world is going to be motivated to stick to something that they absolutely hate. So look, there are just some thoughts floating around my head for today. Hopefully it's helpful. And lastly, just before I go, if you want to get on my weekly emails where I send out 2 to 3 emails a week to a couple of thousand subscribers based on similar stuff like this, to be honest, in a bite-sized email you can read in 2 to 3 minutes. The link to get on those will be at the end of this show notes episode. DocFitnessOnline / episode 18, I believe it is. And thank you for tuning in. Until next time, chat to you soon.